I find it absolutely hilarious when parents act as if, they're just working so hard for their children. Um, they're trying to protect their children from this, that, and the third. And it's like, you realize your child didn't need to exist, right? Like, you realize you brought your child into an unpredictable existence where tragedy is just the way of life, where sickness, disease, illnesses is just the way of life. So please tell me and explain to me, how can one protect somebody by bringing them into this existence? How is that protection? Like, I knew of someone who was just adamant, you know, when she had her baby, especially she had her baby, right before COVID hit. So she was just like, really fearful, terrified, paranoid, didn't want anyone around her child, you know, fearful, which is, not irrational. It's not irrational to be fearful, but it's irrational to bring your child into this existence where these diseases and illnesses exist. And you work in the medical field, you've seen with your own two eyes all the diseases and illnesses. You've actually studied them. But you still decided to bring someone into this existence, and now you're paranoid and fearful. How does that make sense? I really want someone to explain this logic to me. Like, I really want someone to explain this logic to me, because in my head it doesn't make sense. I can't even begin to try to make sense of this. You work in the medical field, you've studied all the diseases and illnesses, you've worked in hospitals, you've seen the suffering that human beings go through, but you still decided to bring someone into this existence. And then you act so fearful and paranoid, and you act aggressive when you feel like someone is putting your child at risk, but you yourself put your own child at risk by bringing them into this existence. I need someone to help explain this to me, please. If you work in the medical field, if you've studied medicine and you brought a child into this existence, please explain to me how now you can act like you're just so terrified of something happening to your child. And this whole thing that people regurgitate when they say no parent should witness the death of their child. I've heard people say this stupid cliche. No parent should witness the death of their child. So, did you not know that death is a 100% guarantee when you brought someone into existence? Did you not know that? So you were okay with your child being traumatized by your death, but you're not okay about being traumatized by their death? You didn't want to witness their death, but it was okay for them to witness yours as a parent? These people, these reproducers, these procreators, they really, really show how selfish, narcissistic, and sadistic that they truly are. These little phrases that they throw around, these little things that they do, how they act, they really, really show how egotistical, narcissistic, and sadistic and psychopathic that they are. Because it's not making sense in my brain. It's not making sense in my brain. I was watching another YouTuber, and I forgot his page. I forgot the name of his channel. And he was talking about Nick Cannon and how he had the son that died of the brain tumor or brain cancer. I don't remember exactly what it was. And how Nick Cannon went on his show and he was just like, he made this whole spiel about himself and how he's going to move on from the situation and how this situation, helped him grow. He didn't talk about the pain and agony his son might have been feeling before he died. He didn't talk about how selfish it was to bring his son into this existence where things like this happen. He didn't discuss these things. Typical reproducer and procreator. Typical, very, very typical of them. They don't care. They don't give a fuck. Let's call a spade a spade. They don't give a fuck about their children. They just care about a baby satisfying whatever need or desire that they have. They don't care if you grow up and you struggle. They don't care if at 7 years old you get leukemia or cancer and you're in pain. They think about themselves. How is this going to make them feel? How are they going to move on from this? How are they going to pay for this? Are they going to create another baby to replace the baby that's, dying of leukemia or cancer or whatever? This is their thought process, because I was watching a St. Jude commercial, and the mother of the little, I believe he was 9 years old or something, said, "I couldn't understand how my miracle child got cancer." Your miracle child? They really, really talk about these kids like there's some possession, or it's really sick. It's really, really sick when you start to digest some of the shit that comes out of reproducers and procreators' mouths. Is really sick and twisted, man. Sick. I cannot begin to understand. Because I would think a loving parent, a caring parent would be like, my child is suffering and I'm really the cause of this. And be apologizing and apologetic to their child, because their child didn't need to come into existence. Their child didn't ask or request to come into existence. The parent took it upon themselves, and now the child is sick. And the only thing she could think about is, woe is me, my miracle baby. My miracle baby, oh my God, now has cancer. Oh my God. And these people will literally tell child-free people and antinatalists that we are selfish. We are evil. We hate babies because we don't want to bring them into this existence where they can be harmed or they can suffer. We're the evil ones. These people have a sick, twisted psychology, and I don't even think therapy can help them. Why? Because we've been programmed and brainwashed to think this way. So it's not even really their fault. The only way you can break this cycle of brainwashing, this programming, the only way you can break it is by becoming empathetic. That's the only way. Other than that, you're gonna these procreators, these reproducers are always gonna feel like they're heroes or they're doing a good deed by bringing someone into this suffering existence. They're always gonna pound their chest. They're always gonna feel, their egos are always gonna be stroked until we change the programming and demonize these people for what they're doing. Start asking people who you interact with, if they, ask you why you don't have kids or whatever the case may be, start asking them why they have kids. Start asking them. All you're going to hear is, I want it, I want, I want, I want, I want. That's all you're going to hear. Because it's all about their wants, their needs, their desires. They don't care about the risk. They don't care about their child suffering through school, being bullied, having suicidal thoughts. They don't care if their child is 30 and can't afford to buy a house, can't afford to buy a car, can't keep a job, can't find a decent paying job, dealing with inflation, high cost of living. They don't care if you get cancer when you're 55 years old. No, what they care about is how you're going to make them feel by coming into existence for the first 2 years of your life. After that, they start trying to push you to the side. Once the child hits 3 years old or older, you see the parents start trying to push them to the side or put an iPad in their face like, okay, you came, you did what you needed to do, you made me feel happy feelings, you released all the endorphins that I had and the serotonins, you released all the happy feelings I had. Now you're getting older, you're not as bubbly and cute anymore, you're not as cuddly anymore, so now I gotta push you to the side and throw an iPad in your face, or create a sibling to keep you busy and out of my face. Just watch these people, man, and hear the things that come out of their mouths, man. Sick people, man. I started to really separate myself from a lot of people who think that way. Even my mother, she's always talking about this woman at her church who is trying so bad to have a child and a baby. And my mom's like, oh, I'm praying for her to have her baby. I'm like, why? Why? What does she need a baby for? She doesn't need a fucking baby. It's not a need, especially in this day and age. Like, what do you really think your child's future is going to look like? Honestly, if COVID didn't teach us anything, it should have taught you that the future is very unpredictable. If that's one thing you should have learned from COVID, there's plenty more that you could have learned, but one thing for sure is that this life is unpredictable. And why bring someone into it? People were losing their jobs because they refused to get vaccinated in the so-called country, land of the free. Okay? I don't know what's in your head, if it's bubblegum, but it damn sure ain't a thinking brain. If you thinking about bringing a baby into this existence, you don't have a brain in your head. You have gum, bubble gum, because there's nothing up in that noggin, baby. Nothing. I'm out.